Yes, Peter. So we will today first discuss the chapter that is Discovering Tut. Now, when we talk about Discovering Tut, the saga continues. Through this chapter, we actually are dealing with this curiosity of human beings, curiosity towards future, curiosity with the past, and how this curiosity leads us to discover different things. So from ages, people have been interested in knowing more about the past. Because when we are aware of the past, we are able to make our future better, the present even more better. So that is why knowledge of the past is also somewhere very important. And this chapter, it deals with the discoveries of the mummies, and a project started where the mummies were discovered and they were scanned after that. And this project was undertaken to solve the lingering mysteries which has aroused the curiosity of man towards mummies. Various mysteries were associated with various kinds of tombs and the mummies that were discovered in Egypt. And that is why it was important to bring science in this field to solve those mysteries. So intervention of science is somewhere it becomes important. And archaeologists, they have always been fascinated by these mummies found in Egypt. And the first mummy which was discovered was the mummy of King Tut, whose full name was Tutankhaten, who later changed his name to Tutankhamun or Tutankhamun. We can name it, pronounce it anyway. This King Tut, he was popularly known as King Tut. He was the youngest heir of his dynasty, the wealthiest one as well. He became the king at a very young age. He ruled for 9 years, but then he suddenly died. So this king, a boyish pharaoh who died at a very young age, archaeologists, they became curious to know what was the reason of his death when this mummy was discovered. Huge amount of treasure was also there discovered in his tomb, which indicated that he was the wealthiest of his dynasty. And this mummy, it was first discovered in the year 1922 by the archaeologist Howard Carter. When we talk of the year 1922, during those times, these archaeologists, they were just related to the treasure found in the tomb. The mummies, those were discovered in those days, the archaeologists, they were just interested in the treasures there. Howard Carter also did the same. So first of all, he kept on recording the treasure that was found. When he had completed recording all those, then his interest developed in knowing more about the mummy, and that is why he decided to open the coffin of this King Tut. Now, this mummified body of King Tut, it was kept in a golden coffin. It was a 3-nested coffin. And when Howard Carter, he opened the coffin, he found that he was in a trouble, because he could not lift the mummy from the coffin as the mummy was stuck at the bottom. And why was it stuck? Because during the process of mummification, the ritual resins that were applied on the body, it had melted and then hardened. So the mummy was stuck to the bottom. Howard Carter, he could not take it out. He tried all possible effort, but nothing happened. He even decided to keep it under the blazing hot sun so that the resins could melt, but nothing happened. And then he decided to chisel away different parts of the mummy. So he decided to cut it from different joints. Why? Because he wanted to remove all the jewelry that was adorned over the body of King Tut. And the reason that he gave, that he had to adopt such a measure of cutting the body from different joints, that if he had not done so, the robbers, they would have looted the mummy and destroyed the mummy. And that is why he decided to chisel it away, and then he removed the adornments that were there. Then he again concealed all the joints. He joined it, concealed it with padding, so that nobody could come to know that what he had done to the mummy. But his methods have always been criticized when people came to know what he had done to the mummy. And that is why this project was started to preserve the mummies, because a lot of advancements took place in the field of science. And now archaeologists, they were not just interested in the treasures found in the with the tomb, in the tomb with the mummies, but also in the mummies that were discovered there. And this technological advancement have brought a great shift in the thinking of those people, the scientists, the archaeologists, the other people who were from different fields, those who were involved with these kind of discoveries. And that is why this project was undertaken. The project where the mummies were discovered and then they were scanned. And this project was started under the supervision of Zahi Hawass. So it was January of 2005 that this mummy, it was again taken out from its tomb. It was the evening time, and when this process started, the story opens with a description that suddenly the weather changed. A strong wind started to blow, and the sky, it was overcast with the cloud. Somewhere people associated with the curse that was associated with the mummy. They thought that as now the mummy, it was being disturbed, and that is why the curse was now happening. The weather was changing. A sign, an indication that the curse would definitely befall on those who disturb the mummy. So a lot of tourists were also there in the tomb at that time when the mummy was being taken out. And they were watching the paintings that were there on the walls, the murals that were there, the treasure that was there. Some of them were reading through the guidebook and discussing about the curse. Some of them were observing the gold coffin that was being taken out at that moment. And they whispered to each other about the curse, that what would happen to those who had actually disturbed the mummy. Because there was a belief associated with the mummies that whosoever disturbed the mummy, the curse would befall on them. And this person, Zahi Hawass, when this mummy was taken out, he decided to take a look at the mummy. And when he saw, he was actually disappointed, because the mummy was in a real bad state. And he blamed this for, we can say, blamed Howard Carter for this. What he had done, the methods that he had adopted, he knew that it had always been resented, criticized, and he also blamed Howard Carter for this condition of mummy. There is also a mention about an anatomy professor. After 40 years of the discovery, he had also taken out the mummy from the tomb and had performed an X-ray over King Tut's body. The fact that was revealed at that time was that some of the rib bones were missing. The chest bones, the rib bones were missing. But the reason was not known at that time. What was the reason that the chest bones were missing? And it was the time now to find out those mysteries under this mummy project, that all these lingering mysteries, there were two questions associated with King Tut's death. At what age did he die, and what was the cause of his death? Because there were various speculations about his death. Some believed that it was a natural death, some believed he died of some disease, and some believed that he was murdered. So there was a belief associated with the, what was I saying? Yes, so I was saying that there were two questions associated with King Tut's. death. At what age did he die and what was the cause of his death? The possibilities were of being murdered, dying of illness, or natural death. But now it was the time that after the CT scan, the archaeologists, the scientists, the biologists, they would be able to find out the answer to all those questions. We are also given a brief reference of King Tut's fathers and forefathers. The author is not sure whether Amenhotep III was King Tut's father or forefather, but he has given a brief reference about him, that how during his reign, it was considered, the kingdom was considered as being under the golden period, because the people, they were happy, they were prospering. So it was the golden period of the dynasty under the rule of Amenhotep III. After his death, his son Amenhotep IV, he took over the throne, but he brought certain drastic changes during his reign, and that too without any reason. First of all, he started worshipping god Aten, the sun god. He also changed his name from Amenhotep to Akhenaten. He changed his religious capital Thebes to Akhetaten. Please be particular about the name, right? Which is now presently known as Amarna. And after that, he also destroyed the images of god Amun. Previously, they used to worship god Amun. But when Amenhotep IV, he took over the throne, he smashed all the temples and the images of god Amun. And that is why Ray Johnson, the director of Chicago University, he termed him as wacky. He called him crazy because without any reason, he brought so many changes there. After Akhenaten, one ruler came there. He was not from the dynasty. His name was Smenkhare. He ruled for a very short period of time and then he exited kingdom without leaving any trace behind. And it was then that after that king Smenkhare, King Tut took over the throne. He became the king at a very young age. And he also brought back all the old religious practices. He again started worshipping god Amun, and that is why he changed his name from Tutankhaten to Tutankhamun in respect to his god Amun. After that, King Tut ruled for over 9 years and then suddenly he died. So this was a brief history given related to King Tut and his fathers and forefathers. So there are various beliefs also associated with the mummies, which we read in the chapter. One is about the curse. Then the next one is about the resurrection, which is belief in life after death. And that is why when the mummies are buried with all the funerary practices, the mummies are also buried along with the things which are required for everyday need. And if a person is a wealthy one, that he is also buried with all his treasures. So that is why, along with King Tut's mummy, the nested coffin that was discovered, a huge amount of treasure was there. And also the things that were required for everyday need was also found along with King Tut's body. That is a razor, the fabrics, the clothes that he required after that. Then some articles, board games, and food and wine as well. So belief in afterlife is also there in Egyptian people, that they believe that there is life after death as well. And that is why, as King Tut was the wealthiest of his dynasty, the treasure was also buried. So starting from all the golden jewelry, everything was in gold that was found from the tomb of King Tut. And it was quite a surprising fact that all the artifacts found from that tomb were intact. Because from over a long period of time, the robbers have tried to loot the tomb from time to time, but they never became successful. And Zahi Hawass, his team were also surprised that the treasure that was there, it was still intact. Nothing was missing from the treasure. So next we are informed about the CT scan that was going to be performed. Computed tomography, which provides a 3D image. So this body of King Tut, it was brought because the CT scanner, it was kept in a trailer there. So first the head was put into the scanner and then the whole body was scanned. So a wonderful image was obtained with the help of 0.62 millimeters is written. What is the measurement given? 1700 pixels. Yes, 0.62 millimeters of pixel size. The image that was obtained, it was wonderful image. And all the people, those who were involved in the CT scan, they were ready to unfold the mystery. They were hoping to get all answers to their questions. But when the process was going on, when the head was scanned, right after that, suddenly the CT scanner, it stopped working. And it was because of the sand which had entered into the cooler machine. The cooler fans have stopped working. And people could be seen rushing out of the trailers towards one cabin, and they came back again with 2 substitute fans. And when they were bringing those fans, a guard was standing outside the trailer, and he joked nervously that it was because of the Pharaoh's curse that had happened, and that's why an obstacle has been created. And he joked nervously. He was nervous because he was also involved in that process. He was a guard there, and he laughed just to convince himself, trying to assure himself nothing would happen. He was nervous there, and he joked that this was happening because of the curse. But nobody paid attention to that. The cooler fans, the substitute fans were brought, and whole process was started again, and successfully it was completed. After that, nothing happened. Zahi Hawass, he was also satisfied because when he saw the images of the head was there, the neck vertebrae, and the other parts of the body could be seen clearly through that third dimensional image. He was satisfied, he was relaxed, and with a smile on his face, he told everybody that now he could sleep properly. So this way we see that how the scanning was performed. And then once the scanning was done, this body of King Tut, the mummified body, was again taken back to the tomb where the body was rested 1,000 years before with all the funerary practices. And this way, this project, the first part of the project was completed. The scan of King Tut's body was completed. And here we see at the end where the author describes that how the weather changed back to normal again. As soon as the body was again taken back to its tomb, the weather condition changed. Now weather was very clear, it was still, it was night time now. The stars could be seen shining brightly in the sky. Everywhere peace could be seen. The valley of departed was silent, still there. And all the people there involved in the process, they have taken a, we can say, sigh of release. They had got good results through the scanning process. And in the end, we see that how there is also one belief related. The constellation star, where it is named as god Osiris, that how it was again taking care of the tomb. It was over the valley of departed, which was taking care of all the mummies that were there. And if you read the article of this person, A.R. Williams, there he had mentioned that King Tut had died a natural death. But still the mysteries are there. Still there is a lot of arguments that no, he was murdered. Some believe that just before his death, he had met with an accident and the cause of his death was that accident. He had a knee injury and that became the cause of his death. And that is why, as still the mystery continues, the chapter, the title has been aptly justified that discovering Tut, the saga continues. I hope this chapter is clear. Any question from your side, you can ask. Any query, any question?